Hello and welcome to DVD number 5. In this DVD we'd like to show you a lot of line steps, picture steps, poses, and explain how to do them and give you some amalgamations to be able to dance them.
I'll be looking at the flexibility of the spine in two directions, and also how to execute the line steps being on balance and supporting your own body weight.
A little bit of history here before we just do that is of where the lines came from. Originally, English style ballroom dancing was based on good style and flowing movement, and gradually this developed into a slightly more entertaining style. In 1950 approximately, Wally Fryer, who was British champion at the time, Len Scrivener and his partner, British champions, they were doing a lot of cabaret entertainment type of dancing demonstrations in big hotels in London, and they found they needed more entertainment value. So what they did, they started to develop, as Scrivener said to me, a cabaret style, and in that cabaret style they decided to put more picture steps and more line steps. So that's where these lines actually developed from originally, and today modern dancers are using these types of ideas and steps which they've developed themselves to enhance their competitive performances. We'd like to continue now, and we're going to start this line section by using the Oversway family. And what I've done, I've divided the lines today into families, and the first family of lines is the oversway. And the oversway is connected to the throwaway. The throwaway is connected to the X line, and the X line and oversway are connected to the drag type of actions that we have. Now, most lines originally came from motion, and it's the same thing with the oversway. Originally it came from a turning action, a left turn there, and instead of moving onward, what they did, they just checked the action slightly and they swayed over. There's the sway over, and this became known as the oversway, and a very simple line it is, and very simple to do. Now, the man steps, first of all, I like to feel as I come into this step here to my left foot, it can come from any reverse turn that we dance, and as I come into the left foot, I feel a sideways action, very sideways type of movement, and I will finish the turn diagonally to wall. So you can see I'm coming from this position here, that's to the wall, and then it goes an eighth of a turn turning, and that's the oversway. And I'm very careful to make sure my head doesn't move forward. The head mustn't move forward. If it does, it will push the lady off balance. So what we're doing here, first of all, is taking a side step and swaying. And if the lady comes in, I like to do that. You can see there the beautiful line going from the toe, through the body, through to the head.
It's the same thing for the lady. She's taking a side step, and if you look at my centre, you'll see that moving into a side swing. You can see the hips changing angle, and my centre will also be the natural opposite to the man. So that original position I had in the first DVD, you can see that here. If I put the arms in position, you can see we've got the same thing, the same position that we had in the first DVD when I was on the toes, but in this case in the oversway.
Yes, and if we put that together with a little turn going through here, maybe in waltz, lady will do a heel turn, and to there's the side position at this point here, and now we both turn the hips and sway, an eighth of turn, and that's it. And then from here we can do a small promenade, and we have there a very simple amalgamation. So the oversway is the basis of quite a few different lines. We move now to a development of the oversway, which is the throwaway. And Originally, this was called the jeté line, and jeté means to throw something away or to spring in French. And what happened here was that the man went in on the oversway first of all, here, and then from here he overturned the body, continued the turn, and this action of the body threw the lady's leg away. So her leg then extended, as you can see Anne's doing here, and the line, a very beautiful line coming from the toe right through the body to the head. And that's what the ladies will be trying to do. So if Anne just shows that by herself, here she comes onto the right foot, very similar to the oversway position first, but continues through with turn. And you can see if I move out of the way, the line there is very flexible, etc. Yeah, from the man's point of view, very, very important that you understand where the centre of balance is. The biggest fault on this is the man's centre moves forward too much and pushes the lady off balance. So what happens here, the centre of turn is the lady's right foot. And if the lady just swivels around that foot, just does that, you can see that's the centre of the turn. Now at this point, the lady cannot move backward very much from here. Her centre of gravity must stay connected to this foot, to her right foot. And you can see here, Anne's centre is on that foot and balanced. If I go any more forward, what it will do is push the girl back, and I'll be leading something different to that. So if you have a look at this from the entry of the oversway type of position, the side entry here, I turn, and I'm very careful not to put my centre any further forward so that lady can stay in balance at that point.
And maybe it's a good time to say to you, we said we would discuss flexibility. One of the vital things about all line steps is that you are able to support yourself in balance. That's absolutely key. And during all line figures, the frontal plane of the body is in what I call a dynamic state. And I often show that, if I just take Richard's hand, once again, linking to our first DVD, going up onto my toes, and I'm feeling that these muscles that we discussed, the muscular support group from the legs, the hip area, the low abdominals, and particularly the pectoral area at the top of the body, where the two shoulder blades will slightly open as I go into this figure. What that allows me to do, to take 4 points, 4 referent points up the centre front. One is the centre of gravity, one is the chest centre, secondly is the tie point, and thirdly is the what we call Adam's apple at the top of the neck. And I take those 4 reference points, and during line steps, I make sure those 4 points are moving forward to the ball of the foot and not backward. Because once they go backwards, then of course we're in big balance problems. So all those 4 points are travelling forward to the front of the foot, and it's counterbalanced by the head weight. And I'm showing you also the freedom and flexibility of the arm, so that you can see the line has a certain level of flexibility and freedom, which I accompany that, of course, with our breathing technique. And the type of breath here is an outward breath. So
shall we do that once again?
Yes, we can do that again.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, done.
You notice those 4 points going forward to Richard. I'm self-supporting. He's not supporting me. The hands are light.
Good. Okay, our third line that we're moving into now is the X line. Now, I'm linking the X line into the same family because the X line is almost a reverse picture of the throwaway. So, going from here on an X line, we take a side action to the right this time. We're moving slightly rightwards. The body turns through, and the extra turn from the man puts the lady into a very, very similar position as we did on the other side of the body. If I go straight from here to a throwaway, you will see this is like a mirror image almost of that. So X line to throwaway, throwaway to X line. And they're very, very similar. Now, it's the turning action here that leads this. The man is going to turn from this action, from the left foot, into a side position, but now he continues to turn to bring the lady to her left foot, and he counterbalances by keeping the head still. He might turn more, depends how flexible you are, but the head mustn't move too much. If you get the head moving into the lady's space, then very difficult. So weight and space are combining here to allow the picture to become very nice. So from here, balanced, we've got the weight on the foot correctly, and also the space from the lady extending from the man. And the contact point is important. The lady's left hip is outside it's behind my right hip, I should say. It's actually behind my right hip. And so going from a throwaway here, the throwaway, throwaway from here, throwaway from here, there, into the X line. So they're very similar steps. They're mirror images. Notice in this case, we're on the inside edge of the foot, which is a very nice stretched line therefore in the foot here, and you wouldn't want something like this. So stretch the feet, and this is where your rising action and the actions that we talked about before in the DVD 1 and 2s, etc., the development of the feet and ankle stretching, using those to help to create. In this case, you see the line, there's a stretch there. If I turn more, it will show even more line. On the X line, the same thing. The turn, I keep the foot with pressure, and that keeps the foot and the leg stretched. It's the turning of the hips and the stretch of the foot that gives you the line. If you release that too early, you get something like that. Okay, good. Now, our fourth line in this little family of the Oversway family is the drag type of action. And often you get these in tango. Drags, the Spanish drag, for instance, is a very popular step. And it's very similar to the Oversway. If I do the Oversway again from here, we have a side position here, and then an Oversway position, which is really a turn to the left. Now, on a Spanish drag, it's a very similar position, but we go backward, and the turn starts to the right, but then it moves to the left. So now I have a left turn, slight left turn. At this point, the lady can look at me if she wishes to, with a challenging look, or she can look to the left if she wishes to. You've got both options. So going from here, this is a backward movement there, but the body will turn to the right first and then to the left to give the modern position. And usually you'll find this is done at speed, at high speed, by high-level dancers. It will be a fast action from the man's body, and that's what leads it. The lady's relaxed here, and it goes right, left, and therefore the line has got that challenging tango sort of atmosphere. Anything to say?
Well, of course, you need to, as we said earlier, ladies, you need to relax the arms a lot here, particularly if you're doing it in tango, because our goal is to be responsive and reactive. So to get the speed that we're looking for, then it's very important to have relaxed hands and arms. And we've repeated this through each DVD, the importance of relaxation. And of course, relaxation itself is not the key, it's what it allows you to do. It opens many doors. So the relaxation is the basis of what you are allowed to do, how much more dynamic and mobile you can be. So very important.
Yes, and we'd like to show you now a small amalgamation that we've put together for you. Just 4 bars is all it is. And we will just count it through first of all for you. And you can use all these steps connected to this amalgamation if you wish to. So this is going to be a fall away, a reverse slip pivot, reverse turn into an oversway. So we have a fall away, a slip pivot, coming round to the reverse turn, and now we come into the oversway with the sway to the right for the man, left lady, and there's our line. Now, that fall away, slip pivot, reverse turn can be an entry for all these lines that we've showed you, connecting them. This time we'll do a throwaway, a little bit faster this time. There, fall away, the slip pivot into the throwaway. Now from here, X line, good, and here we could do a drag. We'll close the lady in first, and then we could do a drag in waltz. Come into promenade, and we have a nice little combination there, building up from something very simple.